Cypher from cypherpk.com, and today I'm going to be going over the recent patch notes that just went live, and this is going to be on the PTS. This is the Imperial City and PvP changes that are coming with update 7. So I'm just going to go over the combat parts of the patch notes. I'm not going to really cover the other aspects, and I'm going to give you my opinions on the changes. So I'm live on Twitch, but I'm recording this so that I can post it on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching on Twitch, hello. If you're watching this on my YouTube, make sure you comment below with your opinions. Let's start off. The first change, weapon swapping can now be activated while sprinting. That's a good change. It's going to give us, more versatile options. You can sprint and weapon swap. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's going to help my stamina Nightblade because I do sprint a lot on my stamina Nightblade. It'd be cool to be able to swap without having to let go of the sprint. It's a decent change. You will no longer regenerate stamina while blocking. Now, we knew about this from a while back. I have no idea how this is going to affect PvP. I know it's going to wreck Magicka DKs, it's going to wreck block tanks. The problem with this change is that when they were telling us this on ESO Live, they were like, yeah, we went over this change. We went and we did the vet dungeons and we did the trials without actually, we were able to complete the vet dungeons and trials without any problem. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You can do the vet dungeon, but can you PvP with this debuff? Can you PvP with the fact that you don't regenerate stamina while blocking? Have you tried tanking and PvP? Because it's different. When you're going against a mob, it's different. The mob isn't fearing you every 6 seconds. The mob isn't applying dots to you and draining your stamina like crazy. So, I don't know. We'll see how this affects PvP. I don't really like this change. They could have either cut regen in half or slowed it down or increased the cost of blocking instead of applying this huge nerf to blocking. Reduce the cost of stamina abilities by 20%, so they're equivalent to weapon abilities. Here's the thing. Abilities are already super cheap. They already don't cost that much. So I don't really know if this change was necessary, but whatever. It's not a huge deal. 20% is not that much. We're talking 20%. My surprise attack costs like 1k or something like that. So 20% extra, 200 off. I mean, it's already free to cast basically with the amount of regen you have. I don't care about these effects. Not a big deal. So experience gained from killing other players has the same diminishing returns as AP and XP. That's good because it just prevents, because a big part of PvP, the idea of AP farming, right? So you'll have these groups. They'll be in a tower or in a closed area. They'll be farming people, and of course the AP starts diminishing, but they're still getting the same amount of XP for farming said players over and over. So this is gonna it's gonna make it not as worth. I'm trying to desensitize. Fuck. Excuse me. It's just gonna make it, to where you're not getting as much XP for farming players over and over, which is good. I don't like the idea of PvP farming, but people will play how they want to play. But this is just to make things a little fair. God, someone in the chat help me out. The cost of each roll dodge, desensitize. Okay, whatever. Thank you. The cost of each roll dodge will increase by 33% after your first roll dodge. Okay. Do they like to give us vague patch notes or something? Because what does this mean? Is there a 4-second cooldown on this? Or is it just going to keep going up? Because I'm worried here. I'm so worried right now. Because the cost of each roll dodge will increase by 30% after your first roll dodge. So what counts as my first roll dodge? When does this... I'm not cutting this out of the video, but when is... Can we get a cooldown on this? Is there a 4-second cooldown like the streak, debuff? Or... I don't know. We'll find out when I get in the PTS. You will no longer become briefly stunned when attempting to mount. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Some of this stuff isn't that important, so I just want to cover the important aspects. Some of these are just small changes just to help and just some UI bugs and all that good stuff. Okay, so not much left over there. The abilities Molten Whip and Veiled Strike can now be voided by roll dodging. But what about the Templar's charge, toppling charge? Because that's the only charge in the game you can't roll dodge. You can roll dodge ambush, you can roll dodge one hand and shield, you can roll dodge all the other gap closes, but you can't roll dodge that one. So that's probably one that they overlooked. Dragonite, Earth and Heart, Battle Roar. So they're scaling to where Battle Roar isn't going to be based off of just your max magicka. So each pool of resources, your health, your magicka, your stamina, is going to be it's going to be a percentage of that. Because right now, the current state of Battle Roar is it helps magicka decays more than stamina, because if you have high magicka pool, you're going to get a lot of stamina, a lot of health, and a lot of magicka back. But now it's just going to be scaled off of each individual stat. That's good. That's good for balance. Igneous Weapons increase the bonus duration from 2 seconds from 1 second. Igneous Weapons is still not that good. Magma Armor, they fixed the AoE cap on that. Molten Arraignments. This ability will now grant its bonus to fully charge heavy attacks instead of partially charged heavy attacks. That's a nerf on an ability that I have never even thought about using, because you don't want to use an execute if you have to get them below 50% and then buff yourself up and then charge a 2-second heavy attack so that you can execute them. Come on now. Zenimax, you should have buffed this ability, not nerfed it. So, Obsidian Shard, this ability will now apply direct heal to an ally near the target. Okay. This one's kind of bothering, because can you get the heal if there's no ally nearby? Is this like healing ward? Can you apply the heal to yourself? Because if you can't, then this is still a waste of an ability. Like, I don't see myself using this unless I was using some type of hybrid DK build. I don't really know. It's kind of weird throwing a Stone Fist at someone and then healing someone near it. No idea. Shattering Rocks fixed an issue. Okay, they fixed some stuff on Shattering Rocks. They reduced the cost of Stone Fist by 20%. That's good, because Stone Fist actually it costs a lot. It costs a lot of magicka, so 20% is a really fair reduction to it. And they increased the range to 20 meters. That's great. Molten Whip and Flame Lash will no longer set targets off balance when the ability misses. That's a good fix. Now here's a big one. Instead of a direct heal, this ability will now reduce the amount of health by 25%. So I'm pretty sure it means we'll now reduce... Okay, so... Again, these patch notes are a little confusing at times, but... Instead of a direct heal, this ability will now reduce the amount of health by 25%. And then apply a heal over 3 ticks. Okay, so is it reducing the enemy's health by 25%? Because if that is the case, then that's fucking OP. But if it's just reducing the amount of heal... But if it's just reducing the amount of heal by 25%, that's okay, but then it's gonna apply it over 3 ticks. So this is confusing. I have to test this when I get on the PTS. We also increase the damage versus off balance by 25%. That's a big buff, because you know what off balance means, right? If you have someone in a Talon, that counts as off balance. So it's a typo. Someone's telling me it's a typo. So it's reducing the amount of health healed by 25%. That's fine. It's still a pretty decent sized heal. But if you have someone held in Talons, that means they're off balance. So that means if you have someone in Talons, your whip is going to do 25% extra damage to them. That's good news. That's really good news. They fixed the bug with the synergy on Shifting Standard. That's cool. Dragon Leap, they fixed the bug. They fixed a few other things. Nightblade. Now, guys, Nightblade is I told you guys Magicka Nightblade was going to make a return. And it was gonna be great. I didn't realize how great it was gonna be until reading these patch notes. I don't want to overhype it, because all the other classes, I think they'll be fine. But I'm making a Magicka Nightblade on DC, a high elf Nightblade. So I'm a little biased. I'll keep that in mind. We'll see how this goes. So double take, you will now move as fast with double take while stealth as you do on the effects of rapid maneuver. So they're buffing the speed of double take because you weren't moving as fast while you were stealth. That's good. Fixed Executioner, so where you get 3 ticks instead of 4. This passive sucks anyways because it barely gives you any magicka back. Like this should be like 10k magicka back. Well, that 10k is a little too much. Right now it gives you like 1k over 4 ticks. So it takes you like 4 seconds to get 1k magicka back. I don't even know about that. Grim Focus. The bow on Assassin's Will now be easier to see in first-person view. Okay, cool. So I can no-scope people in first person and still be able to see the bow. And can now be activated after 4 light attacks instead of 7. Thank you, Zenny. This ability is going to be so fun to use. It hits like a fucking truck. It hits harder than the Crystal Fragments. This is like the hardest non-ultimate, maybe even stronger than most ultimate abilities in the game right now. If I had to, I'm not sure, but this thing hits hard. I'll just say that. Someone's asking, is Stamina Nightblade going to be good? Stamina Nightblade is still going to be good, guys. Don't worry about Stamina Nightblade. I'll show you guys a lot of things about Stamina Nightblade. But Lotus Fan, increase the initial hit damage for this ability. Okay, so you know how I use the unmorphed version of Lotus Fan on my Magic Nightblade? The reason is because the unmorphed version, let's just say the unmorphed version does 5,000 damage, right? When you ambush into them, right? So when you morph it to Lotus Fan, instead of doing 5,000 damage when you ambush, you do about like 2,000 to 3,000 when you ambush, and then another 2,000 to 3,000 over time, and then you snare them. So if you want to play that burst playstyle, which is more recommended in this meta, you would leave it unmorphed so you can get that full 5k straight off the bat and just start bursting down your opponent. Now, this increase to the damage, if they match the increase to how hard it hits before you morph it, so 5,000 damage, unmorphed, and then when you morph it, it does 5,000 damage when you hit them, and then 3,000 to 4,000 over time, and then the snare. Now this ability is actually pretty good, so please tell me this is true. Please tell me the damage increase is enough to make up for the, so that you actually can morph it, and it's better. Because it's silly to have an ability that is potentially better when it's unmorphed, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so Mirage, now it has spell resist, that's cool. I'm still going to use double take because of speed. Encapsulating Strike, the stun now grants CC immunity, that's cool. Mark target heals cannot crit, that's a nice buff. This is PvE related because you can't stun people with Teleport Strike. It only applies to monsters. Agony, some visual effects. Increase the damage of Drain Power by 20%, that's cool. I mean, that's just giving, because Drain Power isn't it's not as used as it used to be, so this is really just going to make it more useful. Agony, I don't even give a fuck what they did to Agony. It's still a shitty skill. I'm sorry, ZeniMax, but the cast time, it should be instant, like Fossilized. If it was instant and it went through block, yeah, sure, give me that skill. But it has a cast time. It can be blocked. All that. No, just no. This is a big one. Siphoning Strikes, this ability is no longer a toggle. So they didn't go into detail on this. I'm pretty sure that means this ability is now a self buff, like a 20-second self buff. So that's great. Remove the power and spell power debuff. Your attacks now do full damage, so you no longer hit like a noodle when you're using this ability. That is also great news. This ability no longer restores a percentage of your magicka or stamina. Instead, it restores a fixed amount per hit. So what is the fixed amount? Does it scale off your max stamina and magicka? Probably not, because it's a fixed amount. It's not percentage. That's I don't even know why I asked that. What is the fixed amount? I am really, really curious as to what the fixed amount is, because that's going to make a big difference on whether I'm going to have this skill in my build or not. That's cool. Bolstering Darkness, I would not use. I don't really. No. Refreshing Path, no. Okay, this is a big one. And I was surprised to see this, but like, okay, Refreshing Shadows. Right now, Nightblades have a 30% stamina recovery passive. When you put 2 points into it, it goes from 15 to 30, right? So now it's only 15%. So Stamina Nightblades, I'm sorry. Like, honestly, you're still going to have decent regen. You're still going to be able to dodge roll a couple times before you have to reset the counter, but this kind of sucks. It makes me want to it makes me wish I was kind of like a wood elf, because it wouldn't hit me as hard. I don't really know, to be honest with you. On my on my Stamina Nightblade, I have like 2.1k unbuffed recovery. So an extra 50% out of that, I would still be around 1800, 1900. So it's, you know, once you break around 1800 stamina recovery, you're sort of good to go on the stamina recovery department. You don't need that much to like roll dodge, cast your abilities. You don't need that much, but this kind of does take a hit on Stamina Nightblades. But listen. Okay, so now instead of getting 30% stamina recovery, we're getting 15% stamina, health, and magicka. Now health recovery is kind of useless in this case, unless you. I mean, I haven't seen anyone build a nice health recovery build. I don't think there is one. I don't think there'll ever be one. But 15% magicka recovery on top of that. So now we're talking, listen, now we're talking 10% magicka recovery from high elf, or whatever, 9%, and then 10% from being a vampire, and then 50% from being a Nightblade. Like, Come on, fellas. Magic and Knife Blade is in the house. I'm sorry. Like, this is going to be so fun. Because Magic and Knife Blade is my... By the way, Magic and Knife Blade is my favorite, you know, class to play. Just because of the utility, Cloak, Shadow Image, all that stuff. You know, it's my favorite. It's my favorite playstyle. It's my favorite playstyle. So we're getting an extra 15% Magicka recovery on top of all this stuff. So this is coming August 31st, by the way. Shadow Cloak. You will no longer be hit by single target attacks while this ability is active. You also can no longer avoid infamy from like, okay, whatever. But I wonder if this applies to gap closers, because 8 out of 10 times I get pulled out of Cloak because I'm about to cloak, I cloak, and then someone from like 30 meters out is coming charging at me with their sword, with their 2H. Like, gap closers break you out of Cloak. So so I don't know. I don't know about that. Hopefully the single target attacks also applies to gap closers, because those are single target attacks. Shadow Image, Impact Sound, whatever. They updated some tooltips. Let's go into Sorcerer now. I laughed a little bit on one of these changes, and I'm so happy about it. But I'm like, come on, Zenny. Now you're just teasing, because now it's just like, why? I'll get it. I'll get into it. So they buffed the shit out of pets. Like, Daedric Summoning. They buffed the crap out of pets. 50% extra damage if you have Conjured Ward. 50% less damage on your pets. Pets could make, you know, pet builds could make, you know, a comeback. They never really were there. Some people kind of messed around with it, but they buffed the crap out of pets again. So in 1v1, these pets are going to be... Because 1v1, pet builds are extremely dangerous, right? Open world, it's a little different. Your pets are running all over the place. You got to control them. You got people coming in out of nowhere, and you know, it was hard. It's you know, it's hectic to have like 2 pets running around the place, right? So they're buffing the shit out of pets. That's cool. I'm curious to see. I'm not gonna bother with pets, to be honest with you. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I don't know. I just don't see myself as a pet type of guy. Like, I don't have any dogs or cats or fishes, and I mean, I've only had like a rabbit once in middle school. So I don't know. I'm not really a pet guy. I don't know about the Daedric Summoning skill line. I don't know if it's for me, but we'll see. Now Stormcalling. Now here's where it gets a little funny. Okay. Summon Storm Astronax now. Prefer to demolish the closest target. That's cool. I mean, that means just throw it on whoever you want to hit. You can change targets if they run away, but whatever. Ball of Lightning. Reduce the duration of the orbs from this ability to 1.5 seconds from 6.5. What the fuck? What? What? I'm a streak guy, so I use streak. Even with the current 6.5 seconds that Ball of Lightning provides, I use streak. But 1.5 seconds for your Ball of Lightning? What? It's useless. It is useless right now. I'm telling you, this is ruining Ball of Lightning. No longer will this morph be used. Everyone's going to be running streak. Why would you use this? What do you do for 1.5 seconds? You put up your shield and you get hit with the next crystal frag that's flying your way. That dude could cast a crystal frag from 30 meters out, and by the time it gets to you, your Ball of Lightning is long gone. So I'm a little... Okay, so inside I'm happy, because I don't like Ball of Lightning. I hate going against Ball of Lightning Sorks, because I'm a Streak Sork and they absorb all my projectiles and they're hard to kill. But this was a little overboard. Like, what is going on? 1.5 seconds. Okay, they could have done from 6.5 to 3, so that it forces them to refresh it within that 4-second duration. Because the problem was, like, you could streak... You have the streak debuff for 4 seconds, so it costs more for 4 seconds. But then you have an extra 2.5 seconds to recast it while your streak becomes, you know, normal cost. But so I was thinking maybe if they made it 3 seconds, you would leave that opening so that they would be forced to streak within that 4 seconds, so they don't want to get hit, and that would make them. You know, it would cost a little bit more for them to keep recasting it. But 1.5 seconds, Cinemax. Okay, let's go on. Bolt Escape. This ability no longer reduces the out of Magicka recovery after casting. The cost increase of recasting Bolt Escapes within 4 seconds remains in place. Okay, so what does this mean? Does it stack? Because with the dodge roll, they told us it's stacked. With the dodge roll increase, they told us it's stacked. But they didn't tell. They're not telling us that it stacks here. So I know in ESO Live they were like, yeah, it's gonna stack. But right here, they're saying that it's not gonna stack, or apparently, like, I don't know. Hopefully, the nerf on Bolt Escape didn't go through. Hopefully, they decided to call that off, because a big problem is the Ball of Lightning Sorks. They can run away a lot easier than Streak Sorks, because Streak Sorks can still get knocked down by incoming projectiles. So maybe they're, just hypothetically speaking, maybe they're nerfing Ball of Lightning, but then they're not gonna nerf the increased cost. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. They fixed a few things. Energy Overload will return a lot of magicka. That's good. I don't really like to use Energy Overload because it's easy to counter. But increase the execute damage by 10%. Mage's Fury. That's cool. I would rather it, instead of them increasing the execute damage, instead of it being 20% execute range, it should be 25%. That makes more sense to me because in this meta, people don't have that many health, right? So they don't have that much health. So what happens is, like, within 20%, if you get someone below 20%, like, that execute would kill them. Anything would pretty much kill them. So Mage's Fury, it's a very hard ability to, like, when I'm PvPing, I rarely really use it. I only use it when I notice someone's below 20% health, but a lot of the times I kill them before they even get to the 20%, so I don't know about that. But Surge, they buffed Surge tremendously. That's good, because a lot of people were going with Entropy over Surge, but now this might make people have to think about it. So increase the duration by 50%. So it used to be around 20-something seconds. It'll be around 30 seconds. That's good. Reduce the cost of this ability by 24%. That's also cool. The healing from this ability no longer procs off damage over time effects. Thank you. Because the problem is this healing, the healing effect has a cooldown, right? As you can see, they're reducing the cooldown from 250 milliseconds to 100 milliseconds. A lot of the times, your dots would crit, and you would get the heal from your dot. So your dot would do barely any damage. You would get the heal. You would waste the heal on a dot. But now you're gonna heal yourself from, you know, Crushing Shock, Crystal Frags, like hard hitters, not just your dots. So that's good. They gave a stamina morph to Thundering Presence. This is a little stupid, and I'll tell you why. Because stamina builds have magicka dumps. Thundering Presence for a stamina Sork was a magicka dump, right? Sorks would use these abilities so that they could dump some stuff into magicka. They would use Streak and just like some magicka buffs, and then the rest would go into their stamina, right? But I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is a good change. I don't see it being a good change. It doesn't really. Stamina Sorks still need a lot of help. By the way, I will be creating. I already created a new magicka Nightblade on DC. It's a high elf Nightblade. I'll be working on that. I'm gonna get it to V14 before the patch comes out. Now, Dark Magic. Increase the amount of stamina restored by this ability by 50%. That's cool. Add a new animation that better supports your movement during combat. This ability now has a cast time. You can move at normal speed while casting. I don't know about the cast time. This ability now initially costs stamina but restores magicka and health. Dark Exchange. Okay. That's cool. Increase Templars. Ruin Focus, fix an issue. Okay, so they fixed some things. Remove the 2-second delay from this ability. That's good. This ability now begins restoring magicka instantly instead of waiting 2 seconds. So they're speeding up the Templars, I can tell. They're definitely speeding up the Templars. And instead of targets below 50%, that's going to be targets below 75%. So they're going to have better magicka regeneration. That's good. Repentance will also scale identically whether you have more magicka or stamina. More resource changes that are going to affect balance things out. The animation visibility is now faster, so they're speeding up the Templar animations. They were too slow. They were too slow. So Eclipse now stacks like Curse stacks, but the time bombs don't even hit that hard, so it's not. I mean, it's not a big deal. Radiant Destruction nerf. Sorry, Templars, but sorry, not all Templars. Reduce the damage bonus from 40% to 20%. Thank you, Zenimax. Thank you so much. So yeah. Okay, so increase the travel speed. All I see is a bunch of speed buffs for Templars, as in like they're speeding up all their abilities, which is good. Their abilities are kind of slow right now, so Increase the damage from piercing javelin by 10%. That's cool. Two-handed. So the follow-up passive now requires fully charged heavy attack because it was overpowered. Because giving us 10% extra damage after charging a heavy attack was overpowered. They have to make it fully charged. I don't like that. Whatever. That passive, barely anyone uses it except like certain, gank builds that do heavy attack followed by like any ability. But whatever. Increase the cost of momentum by 35%. That's not a big deal because the ability is already very cheap to cast. And you got to understand, like, okay, so people will tell me like, hey, Cypher, why do you use Executioner over Killer's Blade? I made a video about this, but they would be like, Executioner costs like, let's just say 2 times more than Killer's Blade. So like Killer's Blade, let's say costs 500, Executioner costs 1,000. I'm like, okay, how many times am I spamming Executioner in a fight when I'm trying to execute someone? So like, tell me this. If I'm trying to execute someone, how often are you executing someone in a fight? You're not using that ability the entire fight. Now, if you told me, okay, Crushing Shock costed like 1,000, and there was another ability that was instant DPS and it costed 500, yeah, sure, I could see myself using that 500 ability over Crushing Shock because you're spamming out the entire fight. But when it comes to Executioner, when it comes to heals and stuff, you're not necessarily spamming it, especially Rally, because it's like it gets better over time. So 35% increase, that's not a big deal. They improved the visual effects of Uppercut. So now when someone's spamming that shit in your face, it just looks 100% better in 1080p HD Blu-ray DVD. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what that means. But one-handed shield, they improved the Absorb Magic. Something about Absorb Magic. Whatever. I don't see anyone using one-handed shield too often with the nerfs that came into blocking. We'll see. Fixed an issue. If you had a damage shield, you were not getting stunned by reflected attacks. I made a video about this a while back and I reported it, but that's good. That's a good change because people who had shields up were like preventing CC because of the shield. So Blade Cloak, they increased the damage. They reduced the damage from Flying Blade, but they increased the base damage of Hidden Blade. This ability now balances to 2 additional targets for half the damage instead of a cone attack. The Shrouded Dagger, that's the hidden morph. Synergy, I think. I'm not sure. Whirling Blades now applies major endurance instead of giving stamina. It also reduces the cost by 50%. That's cool. Bow increases the amount of light attacks. The increase the cost, the damage of light attacks by 60%. That's great. Arrows are now easier to see while they're traveling to Uni. Her, dirt, Skyrim reference. Thank you, Gina. Fixed an issue where your arrows occasionally now appear. Okay, they fixed some arrow stuff. Hasty Retreat. Okay, they better have... This passive now grants the Mage expedition for 1 second / 2 seconds instead of a 30% movement. No! What the fuck? Why? Why would they do that? Okay, so this is another nerf to Stamina Nightblades. Stamina builds in general that use a bow. What I used to do to run really fast, by the way... I used to run really fast by using Major Expedition and then rolling into this 30% extra movement speed. But now this is going to apply the Major Expedition. Okay, Zenny. Okay. So no more no more super fast ninja stuff. I'm sorry. That means I can't go flying into keeps and I can't fly around the place. No more bouncing. I'm going to have to use another set that gives me speed bonus or something, but why? Why did they do that? Oh well. I'm sorry. Magic and Knife Blade, here I come. That sucks. That really sucks. They just nerfed the speed on stamina builds. So this is as far as I got, right? Destructive Staff, Frost Touch, and it's more so long to apply half a second stun to the target. Cool. Flame Touch stability will now knock back your enemies instead of stunning them. That's cool. They increase elemental blockade by 8 seconds. I still don't think it's worth it. Maybe in PvE, but I don't know. Cypher is not even mad because he's going to play Magic and Knife Blade. No, I'm going to play Stamina, guys. I'm going to play Stamina. I promise you I'm going to make Stamina work. I'm not going to abandon you guys. Just like I abandoned DK. Okay, let's continue. Flame Clench. Remove the stun from this ability. Okay, I don't really... Reduce the damage of fire and frost heavy attacks by 3.84%. 3.84 divided by the square root of 84. And why? What does this even do? Reduce the damage of fire and frost heavy attacks by 3.84%. This will now make damage more consistent with other weapons. Okay, so what I don't get about ZeniMax is when it comes to things like blocking, instead of giving us like a 30% reduction to regen or a 50% reduction or like a 10% increase to this and that, they like overdo things. Like they nerf roll dodge by a lot. They completely fuck over stamina regeneration when you're blocking. But with things like this, they go, okay, 3.84%, just so it can be consistent. Well, why don't we have more changes like this? Because I would like to see more small changes like this instead of huge nerfs and huge buffs. Because a lot of the times with these patches, every single update, so many things change. The entire meta shifts. And then we have a new problem. So we just have a new problem. We remove the old problem. We create a new problem. But I wish they had more changes to where it's like 10% increase to this, 10% decrease to that. Let's try this. Let's try that. I want smaller changes. This 3.84%, like that's just. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Okay. The lightning staff bonus attacks, it now hits 6 targets instead of 2. That's cool because lightning staff, fire staffs usually are more. I mean, a lot of people that I know use fire staff, so it's going to give incentive to use lightning staff. Heavy shock now deals 50 plus 100% damage to the final pulse damage to nearby enemies with a maximum of 6 targets. That's cool. That means heavy shock attacks are going to be buffed. I haven't gotten to the vampires and werewolves part yet. I'll get there really quickly. Fix nature with a heal. Okay, the heal. Okay. Mage's Guild, Mage Light. Clarify the tooltip of this ability in case now your only available magicka for casting spells is reduced by 5%. Your max and magicka values are the same. Your magicka bar. Okay. Okay. Clarify the tooltip of this ability to indicate that only your available magicka for casting spells is reduced by 5%, but your maximum value remains the same. So that means your magicka bar will simply recover only to 95% instead of 100%. So that means your max magicka stays the same. That means your damage isn't reduced. You just have 5% less magic to work with. That's good. I didn't know that it was like that, but they clarified that, and that's good to see. Mage of the Guild. This passive no longer triggers when activating Mage Light. No. I'm not accepting that. I used to use Mage of the Guild to proc my on my detonation build. That's not a problem anyways, because I'm not going to be using that detonation build as often, and if I do, I'm not going to use Mage of the Guild. I'm probably going to use Entropy instead of Mage Light, but I don't know why they did this. Oh, actually, this kind of I'm a little happy about this because I know a lot of people who like gankers, like they'll activate Mage Light and then they will uppercut you out of stealth for the extra 20% damage, and that was causing a lot of one shots. So this is gonna nerf those gankers, and anything that nerfs gankers makes me a little happy. So that's cool. Fighters Guild, Camouflage Hunter, the ability bonus damage from now stealth weapon damage critical. That's cool. Expert Hunter. This ability no longer multiplied by stealth critical damage bonus if it's used by entering stealth. It will now behave consistently if used before. Okay. Increased internal cooldown from products to 2.6. Okay. Trap Beast. Trap Beast buff updated the casting animation of this ability. So now you can put down your Trap Beast in 1080p HD Blu-ray DVD. Now Silver Bolts fix an issue where your arrows would be missing after. Okay. Increase the pull damage by 30. Trap Beast. This ability now grants the minor force buff, which increases critical damage by 12%. Nice. Reduce the arming time to 1.5 seconds from 3 seconds. Even better. Increase the ability duration to 60 seconds. Now this is going to be in all my builds from now on. Trap Beast. All my builds. I'm just kidding. But this ability now will function like other fears in the game, where it places a crowd control immunity on the target after that fear ends. Yeah, this ability was not giving CC immunity, which has been there for a while, but I'm glad they fixed that. Undaunted. I don't care. No. Okay, because I don't really. Let me see. Is there anything? Nope. Assault. Caltrops. This ability no longer considered a melee attack, so it will no longer trigger the Red Guard and Imperial passive. I'm pretty sure they mean the Imperial as well. Caltrops now sorts targets based on the center of attack rather than the distance from the caster. Okay. Continuous attack. This passive now grants spell damage in addition to weapon damage. That's cool. Magic Detonation. This ability now adds bonus damage for the amount of targets hit with 5% per target, up to a maximum of 25%. Detonation time. proximity depth. This ability was now an instant cast. We also increased the detonation time to 8 seconds and reduced the damage by 20%. Okay. So what you're telling me is my dream of Magic and Nightblade is getting even better. Because insta-cast... Okay, here, just think of this combo for a second. Think of this combo with me for a second. So, I have my Meteor up on my Magic and Nightblade. I proc my Spectral Bow with 4 light attacks. I activate this. I got 8 seconds. I go ham with DPS. I drop the Meteor around like 4 seconds. I fear them. And then I hit him right in the face with a Spectral Bow while the proxy goes off, while the Meteor hits. So rest in peace, because this is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun. The cast time, you could work with it as a Nightblade. You could go into Cloak and do the cast time, but I'd rather have instant. I'd rather... Stop. Everyone will be Magic and Nightblade now. Stop. Guys, Magic and Nightblade was my favorite... I don't know if I told you guys this, but Magic and Nightblade is my favorite class to play, so I mean, I'm going to hype it up, but I'm still going to play every single class, and I'm also going to make a Templar, but we'll see. Figure now only costs rank 5, that's cool. Fix an issue where causing this ability will trigger the Mountain's Blessing passive. That was a DK nerf right there, but I mean, it wasn't a huge deal. Guard, relocate this ability to rank 5. You know, ever since they put Guard in the game, I haven't seen a single person use it. I don't even know how this ability... If I saw this ability, I wouldn't know what it was, because no one uses this crap. They need to change it up. I haven't seen anyone use this, and I thought it was gonna be cool, and I thought DKs were gonna be able to reflect projectiles back at everyone. I don't even know. Increase the travel speed of this ability by projectile. And reduce the cost. Okay, cool. Increase the damage of the ability. Okay, cool. Werewolf. You can now safely press the button for the Werewolf ultimate repeatedly without fear of immediately reverting back to normal again. That's good. Removed stamina regeneration from the Werewolf passives. It now requires Werewolf transformation to be slotted on your ability. It now requires Werewolf transformation to be slotted on your ability bar. So you have to have the ultimate for the stamina regen. Okay, so that sucks because but at the same time it got to the point where if you weren't a human, I mean, if you didn't want to be a vampire, there was no reason not to be a werewolf. There was no reason, because you got that free regen, you got that free stamina regen, and you didn't have to be a werewolf. So this is a sad change, because I mean, that free stamina recovery was cool, but I mean, it was a needed change, because now you actually have to make a decision. Are you going to turn into a werewolf, or are you going to stay human, or are you going to turn into a vampire? Before, it was like, if you were a human, you weren't doing something right, because you had to be a werewolf for that free stamina regen. Reduce the poison damage you receive while in werewolf form from 40 to 5%. Cool. Fix an issue that was allowing negate magic to pull werewolves out of werewolf form. Okay. You can no longer fish or use the dye station while in werewolf form. That's fucking discriminatory, man. What the hell? What if a werewolf wants to fish? What if he wants to use the dye station? What? Come on, Zenimax. Come on. This ability can no longer target destroyed aura protection totem. Okay. Savage strength. This passive will no longer be removed when your character is killed. That's good. Vampire. Reduce the fire damage you receive to 25% from 40%. Thank you. Drain Essence. This ability now restores 10% of your health every second and stuns your target on activation. It can be used on CC immune targets and can be used all the time. It no longer activates the feed debuff. Thank you, because this ability was great. Drain Essence was a great ability, but the problem was you couldn't use it on CC immune targets, and you gave them free CC immunity. So this is awesome. I like this change. Drain Essence. It's going to be actually useful again for gaining ultimate, getting some health back, all that good stuff, and it does some decent damage. Drain Essence is going to be great. Supernatural Recovery. Now this is the one that gives you Magicka and stamina. This ability now only works while any vampire ability is slotted on your bar. So you don't get that free recovery unless you have a vampire ability. That's fine, because I'm gonna have Batswarm on my vampire Nightblade, and I might even put Drain Essence on the opposite bar. But you really only need like your main bar, the bar that you're on the most. Because usually, like, I'll have my main bar, I'll swap to my resto bar, buff myself up, cast Shade, and then I'll swap back to my main bar. So if you have your Batswarm on your main bar, you should be benefiting from this decently. Now racials. Argonian buff. More health and magic and stamina upon using a potion. Thanks for nothing. High elf. Increase the magic regeneration. No, they gave high elf a buff? They gave my Nightblade high elf a buff? They gave it a buff? More magic recovery for my high elf Nightblade? Because I didn't have enough? Zenimax. Zenimax. They buffed high elves? What the hell? No, seriously. Seriously. High elf was the best magic race in the game. They buffed it? Like, I'm mad about this. Like, I have a high elf Sork and I'm making a high elf Nightblade, but what? What? Just someone help me here. Someone help me here. Why did they buff high elves? I'm sorry, but that's fucking retarded. Like, forgive my language, but what? Okay, let's just continue. Let's just continue. Khajiit increased the critical bonus. That's cool, but they 258. Wait, what? Increase the critical sight bonus to 258 from 246. That's a small buff. Remove the robust passive and replace it with a robust concentration. This will increase your health regeneration. Wait. Oh, and stamina regeneration. Thank you. That's a Khajiit buff. There we go. Instead of getting that other passive, now we're getting health and stamina recovery. So now Khajiits have 10% stamina recovery. That's good. That's great news. So all you cats out there, congratulations. You now have some stamina recovery. This is actually what I wanted for Khajiits. I thought Khajiits deserved some stamina recovery. Nords. Resist Frost. Increase the maximum health bonus to 246 from 123. Okay. That's they still need some help, but Orc they got the 4% extra weapon damage. That's cool instead of the crit damage, but I saw that wizard. Wood Elf. Increase the maximum stamina to 246 instead of 123. Another Wood Elf buff. Actually, this makes me want to be a Wood Elf for my stamina Nightblade. Can I get a race change, Zenimax? Can that race change come anytime soon, please? Like soon, like as in SOON.TM. Not. I need that right now because I want to be a Wood Elf stamina Nightblade. I'm boarding ship on the Imperial. I think I'm boarding ship for Imperial because I don't know. The health is cool, but I need that stamina recovery now, and I need that extra. I don't know. We'll see. Wood Elves got buffed, so they buffed Wood Elf, one of the best stamina races in the game, and they buffed High Elves, one of the best magic races in the game. That's good. That's good news. Champion system. They fixed some stuff up in the champion system. Mounts. Mundus Stones. The apprentice now grants spell power instead of spell penetration. That's great news. That's really good. Because now, instead of using the Atronach Mundus Stone, now that I have all this extra fucking Magicka recovery, GZOG, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the hood, man. Now that I have all this extra Magicka recovery, because I have 50% extra Magicka recovery for being a Nightblade, I have an extra 4% for being a High Elf because they buffed High Elves, and I'm going to be a Vampire. Now I can drop the Atronach Mundus Stone and use the Apprentice for more spell damage, and I'm going to be doing more damage. That's good news. Increase the healing bonus to 10% from 5%. That's good. Mundus Stone now increases your stamina regeneration instead of health regeneration. That's going to be necessary for you stamina folks out there, stamina Nightblades. Especially if you're an Imperial or not a Wood Elf, you might need this now. Shadow increases the critical damage bonus from this Mundus Stone to 12% from 10%. Meh. The Warrior Mundus Stone now has more weapon damage. Okay, so now they're making us juggle. You want more stamina recovery or more weapon damage? How much more weapon damage did they give us? We'll find out. Guys, I think that about wraps it up for the combat changes. I think that's about it for the combat changes. Of course, there's a lot of campaign changes. Over here, they're changing up how the campaign scoring system works and the reward system. But all that stuff really, it doesn't affect me because I play for PvP. I don't play for the campaign. I don't play for the Alliance. I play to go have fun and kill people. So I play for PvP. And, you know, this stuff doesn't really affect me. You can go in and look at this. I don't really know how this is going to affect the game. But, you know, it's decent that they're changing some things in PvP and make things a little better. So, thank you guys for sitting through this. I just wanted to give you guys my opinion on this topic. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to stream until the PTS starts downloading, and then when it starts downloading, we're gonna hop on the PTS. It's downloading right now, by the way. We're at 8%. I'm gonna put this on screen so you guys can see this. But thank you guys so much for watching my review of the patch notes. Make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, leave comments below, so we can discuss this together. And that's about it. Subscribe for more ESO content. I'll see you guys soon. All right, guys.